What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Young Legends podcast where we teach you the cheat codes of the game of life. I'm your host, Caption, aka Caption Red, and we have a really great guest today, fitness guru and founder of Lion's Heart Health, Zac Potter. Zac Potter is a health and fitness trainer with over a decade of training experience, holding certifications in weight training, gymnastics, track, and yoga. He has a well-rounded approach to leading a balanced health journey. He loves leading individuals to see their health and wellness in a perspective they have never seen before, and then lead them on a path toward achieving things that they never dreamed they could. Zac, how's it going today, brother?
Going fantastic. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Really excited about this interview and all the cool things you're doing. And I was actually just thinking about you earlier as I was doing my workouts and my couple minutes of yoga. I'm just going to be honest. But yeah, you've been on my mind all day for obvious reasons. And then also I picture you just motivating me and, just helping me along my fitness journey. So
fantastic, man. I'm glad my memory can stay with you, dude. And I know a lot of these, in this time, a lot of people were all quarantined. So you got to kind of find some kind of a groove, some kind of a habit or routine to lean into. Otherwise, the absence of it can tear you up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been fitness has been my saving grace during this time. So yeah, the work you're doing is just helping me chug along. So we've been friends for years. I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate all the things that you bring to the world. And I'm really excited about this interview. And the way I like to start my interviews off is I like to start my interviews by asking my guests to share a funny, cool story. Everybody loves a good story. So I was wondering if you could just share a story with myself and my audience.
Okay. There's a lot of stories we could go. I think I'm going to go the cool direction, and I'm going to go cool, intense with a moral lesson in it. So I'm going to tell you a story back actually past high school. I remember it was late at night and I was driving with some friends. We were partying, and everybody was partying, and I had chosen that night to actually not party that hard. I made a conscious decision that night for one reason or another that I was not going to indulge. And we were driving, we went up to this Waffle House, and we were all about to get out. And I just noticed, because my senses were more clear, I noticed that there was a scuffle going on in the back of a gas station. And I started to turn, and I could almost feel that if I had been a little more wilding out, like the crew that I was hanging with at that time, if I had followed that path a little bit, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't even noticed it, and I don't know if I'd want to get into anything. But I look, and I saw there was two guys kind of scuffling, and it was a black guy and a white guy. And the white guy looked military. It looked like he had a buzz cut, and black guy was just dressed kind of normal. And, first glance, you see a military-looking guy on top of another guy. You figure, okay, it looks like some kind of police thing. I'm just going to stay out of it. That's easier. But I made a decision. We all have gifts, and I have a gift of strength. And I said, you know what? I just want to make sure with my strength that everything's okay. So I kind of snuck out to the side. And, dude, it was the exact opposite of what I thought it was. There was a guy. He was basically a taxi driver, was the black guy. And the other guy was this drunk military dude that was trying to get out of the ride. And the guy had taken his phone, and he was trying to steal it from him and basically run off. And he was beating this guy to do it. And I was able to stop both of them. I don't know. I was ready to get into a fight, but I was just like, I just felt the authority. I just told him to get up and that we were going to call the cops and this was all over. And it was crazy. He just obeyed me. But I was ready for whatever we needed to do. But I really like that story for myself, because I know that I made a choice. Because sometimes we think, oh, I'm in a party, it's all about me. I knew that me choosing away from getting or losing clarity allowed me to share positive gifts and made someone else's life better because of that choice of restraint on my end. So that's just a story I'd like to share. It's kind of crazy, kind of wild. There's, fighting and partying involved, and a moral message that all comes together.
Yeah. Yeah. And so did you put any hands on the military guy at all, or because it sounds like you just said something and he just said, okay. Is that what happened?
It's kind of crazy. Like, I'm pretty good at grappling. I did judo for 2 years and a little bit of MMA. And I wasn't going to just jump and hug two people. I put myself in a position that I was ready to be able to basically slowly start to grapple onto him. I was ready to take his back and be able to take control of him. But before I actually took his back, I said, "Get up now." And I was just very authoritative. I kind of acted like I was the police. I just had like the guts, like I was authority. And he just did everything I said. So I just went with it.
No, that's awesome, man. Oh, dude. And I imagine he went to jail. Did you take a selfie with the other guy, or?
No, I didn't but I literally like had him walk up with me to the gas station to call the police so that he could get arrested.
Wow. Citizens arrest that went well. I've never heard of that happening, but yeah, here we are.
I wasn't expecting it. I thought I was going to eat Waffle House, but we all end up in. My friends that were still in Waffle House 20 minutes later were like, "Where'd you go, bro?"
Just saving someone's life. No big deal. Whatever. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, you weren't always this, authoritarian, super fit, swole guy. And, I just know your backstory, so I know that much. So tell me about the journey of becoming the fitness guru that you are today, like the inception story and just kind of the journey along the way.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I started from the polar opposite of fit. I wasn't like a natural athlete. I wasn't into sports, and it was kind of the natural thing to do. I actually did not excel at sports. I avoided them. I hated being picked for them. I was always the last to be picked. And I kind of fell into this thing where you celebrate your failures, where basically you do poorly and you're like, yeah, I suck at that. And I chose to wear all black and be super skinny. I was naturally very, very skinny. I was the second skinniest kid in school. I was, I think, 6'1" and 120 pounds. I was really skinny. And I would play Dungeons and Dragons with the first skinniest kid, Kent Horton. Mm. But I was a nerd / kind of goth. I had a nihilistic attitude, and I kind of reveled in my failures. And I was kind of headed down a downward spiral. I was on depression medicine. I was on a few things. And there was one night, and it was a lot of things boiling, a lot of things. When you're young and as a teenager, you're analyzing all of life. And I was really analyzing, what is this world? What am I doing? And I had this kind of like an epiphany where I really confronted truth. And truth was, it was like, you know what? If you just decided to take care of yourself, Zach, if you decided to get fit or do all that stuff, truth be told, you'd probably be happier. You'd probably make more money. You'd probably get more dates. Some of these are selfish, but let's be honest. In general, you would probably excel better socially. You're just not because you're not, and it wasn't natural. Like, what if you just changed? What if you just did this 180? And I was like, you know what? I will. So it was my 17th birthday that I really made this decision. And I had long hair, and I decided to cut my hair that very night. I used a knife as well, just to be kind of raw and caveman-like.
Well, all right.
Yeah. And then I decided, I was like, I might as well go all the way. I'm going to wear, like, kind of humorously, a Hawaiian shirt and some Dockers the next morning. So I hopped into that, and I just started my training. I started going to weightlifting in high school and started weightlifting with my friends. And it just started to grow from there. And it really did grow from there as I started to learn that when I pushed myself, when I put myself in different challenges, training, abrasive situations, I would grow in a certain dimension. And it started to grow there, that concept, moving to all realms of health.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that. I'm just picturing you with the knife, like someone trying to hide their identity from being on the run or something. Speaking of which, I had to look up what 6'1", 120 looked like, because when you told me, I was just like, what? Oh. And I was like, holy crud. I can't even picture you being that skinny. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I was actually I don't know to what level they diagnosed this, but I was very insecure about my size. I was so skinny. And I would wear a kind of stiff body t-shirt and then a long shirt and then another stiff body t-shirt on that just to give myself mass so I didn't seem so small to the other kids. And I'd wear 2 pairs of baggy pants to give my legs mass because they were just sticks.
Yeah, that's awesome. You could have thrown on a bulletproof vest too, bulk out the chest a little bit.
I would do it in the summer too.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. That's wild. So I come across a lot of young people and I tell every young man that I meet, I'm like, yo, just, work out, lift some weights. And I get a lot of apathy, right? Mm-hmm. I get a lot of, whatever, who cares? So how can exercise and taking care of your health affect your social life, your performance at school, your performance at your job if you have one, and just your overall future? Like what is the sales pitch that you would give someone who's like, not really interested?
Honestly, I do believe it's going to help you in every realm if you can kind of open your mind to that. I honestly think the decision is a step before that. Sometimes, we're looking at this one small area. Should I choose this or choose that? But sometimes we have to back up and realize the decision we made before that. And you talked about that apathy, lack of caring. Truth be told, if you actually care about yourself and you say, I want to love myself, I want to be able to do something good here on this earth, the next kind of thing you confront is wisdom, intellect. Okay, well, how do I do that? And the truth, and we can find study after study, if you exercise, align your body, get yourself in cardiovascular health, find your posture, eat food that does not destroy you and take away your energy. There's so many layers that we can put on all of these things, and it's almost self-evident. They are going to allow you to do better. No matter what you do, you are going to be a better version of that, bar none. The problem is that it's hard, and that is the thing. And that's why what I always tell people when they first start is I say, you've got to find your why, because I can give you a lot of what and a lot of how, but until you find your why, you're going to be apathetic to it. You're not going to want to go there. So to me, it's really important to find your why. And that's not even looking at the exercise. That's literally looking back at yourself and saying, what do I want in my life? Because if you really turn that mirror on yourself and you start goal storming, the next logical steps are going to be that a lifestyle of health and wellness is going to make you go faster, go more full to that goal. So that's where I start, is all the way back from the core. Start at the heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And speaking of exercising and getting started, what are some effective ways to get started and also continue exercising? Because getting started is hard, but some people would argue that keeping the train going is even harder. So what kind of hacks do you have in regards to that?
Man, I'm not really a hacks person. I do believe you can be smarter. 100% you can have a more intelligent plan. But I think that you're always going to have to really go to these fundamentals. And I love getting started. Sometimes, you get a flame from here's a 5K or here's a competition. If you see a small term goal that you like and it excites you, hop onto it. Catch it. Anytime I see a little extra something to give me a boost, I love to jump onto that. But to me, it comes down to this fundamental decision of like, hey, it just makes sense that I should be healthy. So I have to use pure discipline. To me, discipline is the workhorse that carries the rest. I get little afterburners, nitrous from different events, or if I'm going to the beach or whatever. But the workhorse is just deciding, this is my plan, this is what I want, and I will do it. And then it really is an emotional game. I'm not joking at all. You can call it spiritual, you can call it emotional, but it is an emotional game. Here's a tip right here. Getting up in the morning, setting a time. And this is the hardest. People are like, oh, that's not a hack. Like, no, that's what it is. You will not grow until you have some kind of resistance. You have to create this bravery, willpower that just says, I will do this. So setting up a time in the morning that you get up, regardless of whether you feel like it. That is an exercise. When I get up in the morning, I set my alarm for myself, not for work or anything. It's alarm set because I chose to. I was not brought by the thorns of necessity. I was brought because I chose to do that. And when I hit the alarm and that snooze wants to come on, I keep on telling myself this is an exercise of willpower. I keep on saying will. And it allows me to build up a fire that's completely emotional that I pick up to then continue on in so many other areas of my life that I choose to do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I was reading your book earlier, and you talked about 3 different things of looking at your schedule, your environment, and your habits. So can you kind of delve into that on how that could help you to just kind of incorporate this into your day-to-day?
100%. Yeah, in my book and my basic system, I have 5 core steps. And the last step, and really the reason it's the last step is because everything kind of finishes into this, but it really is the first step just as much. You don't have to do them in a particular order. But the last step is your lifestyle. And there's kind of 3 main areas after you find what are my goals. But that first beginning, who am I and what do I want? Once you have that goal storming, you got to look at your schedule. Each one of us has a daily and a weekly process. And if you really want to be able to accomplish your goals, it is that simple. You're going to have to take that calendar and you're going to have to figure out what is my schedule and what is the schedule that I need? How am I going to fit? And what I really recommend people to do is to commit to a split. And it rhymes on purpose. Let's once again commit to a split. And I don't care which one it is. I have some recommendations, but you got to commit to some kind of split of your exercise in the week. Otherwise, you're just in complete emotion world. So you commit to some variant of a workout split and you put it in your schedule so that things don't move, so that you can say, no, I am scheduled at 5 o'clock to do this. You commit to a split. You look at your schedule. How are my goals going to get in it? Next piece, environment. Okay. We know it to be true. It's almost self-evident. We've heard it before. The 5 people you hang out around the most, you're going to become like them. We have to look at the people in our life. We have to look at the environment we choose to sit and surround ourselves around. Our environment will affect us. And we might not be able to change everything, but if you do not examine your environment, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to change anything. So taking a time to really assess your environment in a few different spectrums and then make some big decisions, be autonomous, and really decide that you are going to do something. And then the last thing is habits. Each one of us gets into a series of actions that turns into a habit over time. And our habits can take us either closer or further away to our fitness and our life goals. So it's really important to become very aware, to assess what are my habits? What is my daily process that continues to go? And then how can I start to sow new habits that will take me towards my goals into my daily life? How do I sow these new habits of discipline? So to me, that's where we look at our schedule, we look at our environment, and we look at our habits. You look at those 3, you take a genuine look at those 3 with some goals, and you are going to have change in your life. But it's hard.
Sure, absolutely. And going back to environments, you were talking about in your book, engineering your environment for success. So social environment is more difficult to change immediately, but what can people practically do in their physical environment that could make things more conducive for them to exercise and to get on this train?
Simple little things. And we all have different spaces that we're working with. So we have to be mindful of that. But just throwing some things out there. If you've got the space and you can put a pull-up bar somewhere in a doorway or something like that, now every time you walk under it, it's an opportunity that you didn't have before. Environment of what your desk is, to be able to create a stand-up desk or just put a laundry basket on your normal desk and now it's a stand-up desk. You don't have to make the excuse that, it costs $300. You can be ingenuitive and figure out something. Also, I will say on the desk thing, a lot of people, they stand up, they sit down. I love to lay prone. and work. Basically, I'm on my stomach and I'm on my forearms. This is where yoga comes into play. You'll notice every teenage girl does this. They'll always be reading a book or they'll be typing and they're on their bed and they're on their stomach because they're young and flexible. The thing is, you don't have to get rigid. If you do yoga and then you mix in your desk time with laying on your stomach like you're a teenager, you will be flexible like a teenager. That's what I do. So there's all these other things we can do in our environment. And then the pantry, man, that's one area of your culinary environment, because we choose what we stock. I always recommend don't shop hungry. Shop when you're already full so you can go ahead and set yourself up for success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I was actually just thinking about food, maybe because I'm hungry. But what would you tell people who, you and I are both adults, so we stock our pantry, but how can someone eat right when someone else is choosing and preparing the food for them? It becomes a lot more difficult, right? So what advice would you have for someone who doesn't have the choice?
So with nutrition as a whole, I'm big into knowing your macros. So you got to know what you want to eat in the first place. So you want to know your fundamentals of what is a good choice. How do I get some greens into my diet? And am I going to get those from canned green beans? Is it going to be from salads? What is it going to be? After you know what you need, then I will say charisma can get you so far. Because if you are dependent, if it's mom, if it's dad, whoever it happens to be, I've been in a lot of situations, and you're kind of stuck with somebody else providing food, all you can do is choose, the best of your options, and you can have some charisma to see if they might get this thing that you requested, or you might be able to share a little health advice to them and maybe get them motivated and excited to make some changes in their life.
Oh, I like that. And you're like making their life better and helping them live longer and everything. And that's awesome. Very cool. And going back to the food thing, I know that we've had conversation. By the way, I eat a lot more vegetables because of you.
Fantastic.
So thank you for that. I know that you don't like hacks, but as far as losing weight, what would you tell people to do in order to get them on that path to just eating with food as medicine and making their just losing weight?
Yeah, I'm not big into hacks. I know what you're saying. Like, I love this group called the Warrior Poet Society, and they have this saying. It says, "Train hard, train smart." And I love that because it's a balance between two things. You never just train hard. You should be smarter. But if you're just clever and you don't put any intensity to it, you're not going to get anywhere. So I'm definitely into, what are some smart choices? But I will say psychology is going to be the biggest thing. If you can schedule some meditation or whatever it happens to be for you, to be able to get your mind in the right planes so you can fight temptation. Honestly, you're going to have to fight temptation and you're going to have to persevere. These are emotional/spiritual actions that you're going to have to do until you build new habits. Talking about environment, you want to go ahead and, after we've assessed and addressed your nutrition and you actually know what you do want to eat, you're going to have to set the environment. You're going to have to set up your kitchen to have the foods that you want and to go ahead and plan out, what are my snacks? What is going ahead? Once everything's planned, it is so much easier because you are not waiting until hunger strikes. You are already prepared. And it is difficult, but if you decide you are going to do this and you use your schedule, you take the food you've decided to eat and you get on the front end of these things, it's a lot easier because you already have the right choice right in front of you. So that'd be the main thing that I would say. If there's the first tip is, after you figure out what you're going to eat, go ahead and have it all prepared beforehand so that you don't have to fight hunger and make a decision on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. And we make our worst decisions when we're hungry and tired and all of those things that we're in. And going back to exercising, let's say I don't feel like working out. How does one energize themselves to go work out?
Yeah. So I am sensitive to the fact that sometimes you feel like crap. And honestly, you might get an injury if you worked out. Sometimes you need a day of rest. That's true. But sometimes you just don't feel like it. And those times are the times that you got to decide to make yourself. And half the battle is showing up. One of the directions I go is like, okay, you don't feel like it. Go ahead and let go of some expectation that you're going to perform a personal best and just walk out there. Whether that's the area you're going to work out, this designated area that you have to work out, or whether that's the gym. Think about it one step at a time. Be like, all I have to do is show up. Because once you start to come in front of that barbell, if you're going to the gym, you start to see other people walk in that building, that new energy happens. That's discipline once again. Now, on the biohack area, I'll tell you, a cold shower will wake you up quick.
Yep.
If you are feeling just down and you don't feel like it, if you hop in a cold shower, you will have instant new energy and a new perspective on life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My morning showers end up cold just because of that. And you focus a lot on strength training. You focus on cardio, agility, and you also focus on yoga. A lot of people don't like doing yoga or can't get into yoga. Why is yoga so important?
So I really look at athleticism because I teach health. I teach well-rounded health. I'm not specialized at all. But within well-rounded health, you have three kind of major dimensions. We can look at it a few different ways, but go on a tour with me. We have strength. Strength is your ability to exert more force. You can bench press, you can squat. How much force can you distribute? Separate from strength, and yeah, we could branch off in different ways, but very separate from strength is this group called agility. And within agility, you have your speed, you have your balance, you have your coordination, your flexibility and range of motion. So this is what allows you to be able to put your body where you want to put your body, to move smoothly, to be able to roll out of a situation, to be able to hop in and out of a car smoothly, get up and down as we get older. So that's that agility. And then the last thing is endurance. How long can your strength and agility persevere? How long and how fast? So we kind of have these three dimensions, and most people will kind of specialize. And there's nothing wrong with extra specialization, but if you forego some core skills, meaning, and we've seen this, I'm going to bring it all to ground, the super buff strong guy that can't touch his toes and he has a bunch of back problems, okay? If you go too hard strength but no agility, you're going to end up not in health. Let's do it the other way. The person who has great endurance, but they have no muscular tone, and they kind of have this horrible posture. They're kind of like curled into this little posture. They don't have flexibility. They don't have strength, but they can just go at like 3 miles per hour forever. And then we have the person that does agility, but they have no strength, and they start to get bone density issues. So what the Lion's Heart perspective is to be healthy in all these areas. You don't have to be the best, and you can specialize, but you should be healthy in all areas. And when we look at agility, we primarily use yoga. One could use dance or Pilates. That's okay. But we think that yoga is very comprehensive. Yoga is going to look at pretty much every area of your body, and it's going to basically test your ability to move within all planes and ranges. So I use yoga as my primary tool to both assess and ascend in agility with all my clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. And what would you say to someone who doesn't like to be bad at yoga? And I'm talking about myself right now. Because that's part of the resistance of doing yoga is I don't like being bad at it. And back, when we had classes, and we will have classes again, what would you tell them to get them to do the yoga?
Stop looking at other folks. Focus on your own game. Go to a beginner class. You'll be fine in the end. I mean, truth be told, it is an emotional, spiritual thing. People don't like to do things they're bad at. And if you can get over that, if you can face that principle in general and be like, hey, I naturally don't like to do things I'm not good at. And I need to let that go. I need to learn how to process failure in my life and be able to basically forgive myself and say it's okay, let it go. I need to be able to release failure in my life. It's a huge step in every endeavor, and definitely a time to practice that emotional standpoint every time you choose to go to a yoga class. So I would look at it as more than just a yoga class, an area of exercising a piece of your heart to be able to humble yourself, to be able to forgive yourself, and to be able to learn in wisdom.
Yes. No, that's good. I'm going. As soon as they open up, I promise I'm going. I'll send pictures. That's great. So as far as your clients go, the people that you train, and you have this program that you're rolling out, which is awesome. But in the past with your clients, what did your most successful clients do that helped them to turn things around and to have the gains that they shouldn't have, maybe perhaps, or that were astounding as far as gains go?
The two attributes that I have seen provide huge levels of success that surprised themselves, me, and the people around them all came from two characteristics: steady perseverance, just their consistency, and their intensity. When I run into a person that is persistent and they have intensity and they start doing my program, I'm usually kind of telling them to back off and make sure they're stretching, because a lot of times they're so intense that they could injure themselves, because I do offer potent exercises in my program. So I'm usually kind of batting and keeping them safe from themselves. But when a person shows up and they show up repeatedly and they have intensity, if you give them even the most fundamental exercises, and I have a wonderful program, but I'll tell you guys the honest truth. If you just have a bare bones simple program and you approach it consistently, trying to progress upward, and you have intensity, you are going to go very far.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you got 70 some odd year olds that look better than me, which
Oh yeah, I had a client and he's public about it, Bob Fornell. I don't understand why anyone wouldn't want me to mention him, but Bob
Sure.
did such amazing things. I started training this guy when he was 69. He wanted to get in great shape for his 70th, and he just had such perseverance. He was just ready to show up and ready to do whatever he needed to do. And he was hoping to get, in good shape. But when he showed up, maybe he could do a couple push-ups, was not so good form, couldn't do a pull-up, couldn't really squat. But by the end of it, he was doing weighted pull-ups with 25 pounds. He could do, I think, 7 to 10 regular pull-ups. He could do advanced gymnastics moves. He deadlifted 240 pounds at 150, I believe. He was doing things he never thought he could do. He was hanging upside down doing gymnastic levers on a pair of rings. And the thing was, he didn't want to do those. That's not what he came for. What happened was he came to get in shape, and he showed up regularly. And I continued to give him progressive exercises. And as he got better, we started doing harder stuff. And he just ended up doing far more than he ever thought.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and you got the pictures to prove it too. So that's great. Now, as far as those great, I guess, habits and attributes that people have, what's one principle that you have incorporated in your life that has helped you to become successful?
There's so many. It's like which one to really sink into, because I kind of have seasons where I'll focus on different things. And I'll say that this past season, I've really been focusing on just sheer will and discipline. I kind of believe in my methodology, the way I approach life. I believe that we should have love for ourselves and others. And that's kind of everything that we do for ourselves and others is love. And then wisdom is the plan. It's the strategy. So you want to love. Wisdom is like, okay, what's the way you're going to love? And then that final piece is will, because you can have the plan for how you're going to love, but if you do not execute it, it's not going to happen. So I've been really working on that willpower, that discipline, because I feel like my heart, the way that I've conditioned, I always want to grow. I feel like I have a loving heart for self and others. And I feel like, I've got that strategy game on. I can write a good workout, a good plan, a good schedule. But where I struggle, and thus where I lean into, is my willpower. It's my discipline of just continuing to say, Zach, you need greater discipline. You need better willpower. And then taking these things with my wisdom, putting them in my schedule, and then making myself do it. And it really is. It's that simple, but it's that hard. and quite an exercise of the soul to lean into your willpower and your discipline.
Right. And the more you do it, the stronger it gets, right? So
it is a muscle. Yeah. Your discipline muscle is a real muscle. And a lot of people, that is the weak muscle. And that is the reason why the muscles on their arms aren't as strong, is it's because of the discipline muscle they need to strengthen.
Yeah, absolutely. You should make a poster of that, by the way. Nice. I like that. Okay, so this has been a great conversation. Now, you're rolling out this amazing online program and this amazing book that's in the program, and also going to be a physical copy. Talk a little bit about your program and also why someone should do it.
Yeah, so if you've heard me talk a little bit about these concepts and about strength and agility and endurance and your lifestyle and all that, basically a framework to look at health, that is this book. And there is a program to then pursue your best health within it. So a lot of times people will pursue one area of health. They'll get into weight training. Their flexibility is horrible. Or they'll start to go down the right program, but they can't put it in their lifestyle right. So often it's our weakest link that is holding us back. And what my book, Foundations of Human Health, does, it really takes you through piece by piece all the different foundations you would need for your best health. So I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend that if you wonder, am I 100%? Am I missing a link? This is a wonderful tool to look and be like, check by check, and be proud for the areas you're like, yeah, I got this one. But it's a wonderful tool to be able to check off and look at each area. And in each area, I also offer a plan and guidance of how to progress in your health in there. So it is a great 101 overview of all of health. It is a great framework to get your mind going in that. And I think it's very motivational as well. So I highly recommend, check it out. It's on lionshearthealth.com. So lionshearthealth.com. Go on there. It's the program. If you click on the program, you're going to get the book online, and you can download it. You can keep it. Our hardbacks of the books, it's a beautiful book. I've put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is absolutely beautiful.
So our hardbacks are coming in November. So I'll have those. It's a great Christmas present. If you have a fitness friend, they will be blown away. I promise you. I've been in the industry for a while. I've looked at a lot of books. I made a book that I would want. And if you gave this to one of your fitness friends for Christmas, they would love it. So it'd be a great gift for that. They'll be available in November. And if you want to get the online one right now, I got a code for you guys. If you put in coupon code LION20, that's LION 20, you can get the program for just $20. And you get support videos for 3 months too. So great deal. I highly recommend to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will second that, just because I've went through the program poking around to prepare for this interview. So, well, Zac, I appreciate your time, your teaching, your positive energy, all that good stuff. Before we end the interview, though, I do this thing called freestyle rapping. And I think it's time for me to spit some bars about my friend and fitness guru, Zac Potter. So let's see here. Can you hear that okay?
Oh, bro. Yeah, lay him, bro. Lay him down.
All right. Yo. I lay it down. He helps you get around all the freaking time. Agility, mobility. You just be feeling your toes all the time and go beyond. Get kind of strong. That's what I say. People gonna say you got it going on. That's what you do. Come straight through with that will of a bunch of iron. You need to be firing a whole bunch of discipline. That's what I'm here to tell you, and not freaking sell you nothing, but you make it stronger by just growing it all the time. Flex the muscle. That's how you hustle. Love yourself. That's how you do. Get the health and just be true to your why. You need to ask yourself something or a question or two, and that's what I say. I'm blessing you, kind of like Zac. Come through with a rap, commit to the split. That's how you get sick. You got to put it on your schedule now. And that's what I say. You go on out when you get the freaking discipline. That's what you need. Come through and see a whole bunch of things up in the heart. with the freaking lions. He is just firing a whole bunch of thoughts, a whole bunch of wisdom to help you get right up in your life. And that's what I say when I bust on the mic. I spit off the top, and that's how I go. And that's what I said with a freestyle flow.
Woo! Nice, man. Nice.
Appreciate you. All right, Zach, thank you so much for your time, your energy. By the way, we got your website, lionshearthealth.com. Is there an Instagram or anything else? Any other socials?
We got Lions Heart Health on Instagram as well, and we're going to be filling up some YouTube this upcoming fall. So just look forward to our YouTube starting to blossom. And YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Lions Heart, just like it, and we got a lot of good stuff rolling out. Check it out.
Very cool. Awesome. And I'll tag all that in the show notes. Zach, thanks so much for just dropping that knowledge, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
All right. Thank you, Caption. Have a good one. Peace.
All right. Peace. All right. So that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you feel better equipped on your journey of health and wellness. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe. And if you would take a quick screenshot of it and share it to your social media story and tag @YoungLegendsPodcast, I'd appreciate that a lot. I hope you're healthy and well wherever you are, in your mind and also your body. And until next time, peace.